Hello, World of Warships world. We are back with the How to Only Half Suck at World of Warships series, and today we're going to play Tier 6. Uh, I have brought Equivoke again, and I have brought Snorky again. You remember them from the last video. Of course, Equivoke's Twitch stream is linked in the description if you want to see who is the guy that carried all these games. You can watch him there and experience it firsthand. Yeah, so why are we going to play Tier 6 as the final video of the series? It is because, well, there's definitely not going to be any bots there. And more likely than not, you're going to encounter CVs and submarines. CVs, by the way, is short for aircraft carrier. Yeah, as I said in one of the earlier videos, don't play them. Grind one of, or probably better two destroyer lines, two cruiser lines, two battleship lines to tier 10 first, just to understand the basics of the game. And what I mean by grinding is grind them. Don't skip half the grind with free XP or whatever. Just do that, and then you can play the funny classes. So we need to find a tier 6 destroyer, a tech tree one. I am not really sure which one to play here. So many choices. Do we have any useful commander here? We do, but I featured the Clemson earlier, so I'm going to play this one, the Fushun. The commander is only 6 points, so we are going to fix that, because by this time you really need to have a 10-point commander. If you don't, you made a mistake somewhere. So obviously you want to take your commander all the way through the line. You have the commander on your tier 2 ship, you research the tier 3 ship and buy it, you put the commander from the tier 2 ship on that and play him on the tier 3 ship. And that way you should definitely have a level 10 commander by the time you're tier 6, probably at tier 5 to be honest. If you don't, it's time to go back and grind, I guess, because you really don't want to be at tier 6 with an underleveled commander. The difference this 4-point skill here makes is insane. You need this skill. Yeah, so don't be an idiot. Don't play with underleveled commanders. Everything else looks fine. And now you can see there's submarines in queue, and you're going to learn to love them. And wargaming is gonna beat you black and blue with the submarines until you love them. Well, just kidding. Submarines are not exactly great, but very annoying if played well. And very annoying if they're on your team and just die instantly. Okay, so there is no submarines and no aircraft carriers. Wonderful. What a great game. I love this game. It's the best game in the world. Also, we are tier 6. We are top tier. And we have to look at the enemy team lineup slightly differently now, because you may remember what the torpedo icon looked like on previous ships. On this one, it looks weird, and that's because we have deep water torpedoes, meaning we can only deal damage to cruisers, battleships, aircraft carriers. And try not to be one of those people who launch those torps at enemy destroyers. Like, that's a bad idea, because then they will be on cooldown and they're guaranteed to not do any damage. Yeah, so we will try not to do that. So what we want to have a look at in terms of the enemy team is who are the cruisers and battleships, and we can see, ooh, there's 4 battleships. That's nice. We want to torp them. Our torpedoes have very low detection and they're decently fast. That means the enemy has no time to react and get out of the way most of the time. But the downside, of course, is you cannot torp destroyers. We can see back there someone is laying a smoke screen in the enemy cap. that is an interesting decision, and by interesting I mean stupid, because by the time he reaches us and engages anyone, his smoke screen is going to be on cooldown. And I haven't talked much about smoke screen yet, but something you really don't want to do is, as a destroyer, run into the cap, drop your smoke screen, then do a semicircle and run back out of the cap. Because what you're doing there is you're blinding your teammates. They cannot see. So yeah, don't do that. We are spotted here by the Leona, of course, that's fine. Last time we were on this map, I mentioned going into that cap is a bit of a death trap. So yeah, we're not going to do that. We are behind this island. Ideally, that Emile Bertin cannot shoot us here. Yeah, now he definitely cannot shoot us. And that's why I said don't sit broadside in smoke. Broadside to where the torpedoes are probably gonna come from. That guy did that. That guy knew we were here. He knew we had spotted him, and yet he decided to sit broadside in that smoke. That is mind-blowingly stupid, so try not to do that. Also, unfortunately, we cannot finish that Leona ourselves because he might have launched torps our way, so we have to abandon that position. Oh, he's on 64 HP. Is that sad or what? Nice. Snorky killed him, so now the cap is free.
I want to point out, don't do what the enemy Bajoni player is doing and sitting stationary, broadside to the middle of the map.
Oh yeah. So the Burioni is behind an island. He's blocking line of sight to the Emerald, the Celebes, the Mackensen, but our Fubuki is down there and I'm out here, so we can still see him and people can shoot over the island. And that may just end his game right there. So I could be going into the cap, but I won't. We're just going to back up here because that Gede probably launched torps our way. We don't want to take those torps. The Nuremberg might have launched torps at us. We don't want to take those either. Yep, there's the Gede torps. What a surprise. So, yeah, since our team is ruffle stomping the enemy team, I will do what experts call a stupid move and just run at this Mackensen as a demonstration what's going to happen if you do that out of protected matchmaking. Well, apparently what's going to happen is I survive and he dies. That was not quite the plan, because now the game is over. Sad. But yeah, okay, that guy died. Very good. Under normal circumstances, you will just die there, so just don't do that. It's stupid. And as you could see, I lost like 60% of my HP doing it. To kill a ship that was already dead anyway. Like, it wasn't dead, but it was going to die at most a minute later. So, not worth it. But yeah, for some reason it worked. Now we are going to play a tier 6 cruiser. And we're going to play a fan favorite, which is the Pensacola. If you are on the internet, which you might be if you're watching this video, you may have read the opinion that Pensacola is a terrible ship, explodes as soon as anyone looks at it, and really has no place in this game. Well, yes and no. It still does explode if battleships shoot it, don't get me wrong, but there's like two things I know about this game, and one of them is Pensacola's nose armor is 25, and that means it can bounce the shells of certain battleships. Like, you can run straight at a battleship, and it cannot go through your nose if you're directly nose in. All the shells will just bounce away. Of course, if they're too big, they will go straight through. Like, those easy shells probably would go straight through. But if you're a, what's its face, Ismail, the Russian tier 6 battleship, that guy, those shells will bounce off your ship, which is nice. Also, the ship has very good guns. The shells are very floaty, so I'm going to miss all my shots, but just imagine I was hitting, and that would do a lot of damage if I did hit. Both the HE and the AP have very solid performance. So as long as you're safe, as long as you don't show your sides to anyone, yeah, Pensacola can perform very, very well. And I would probably fail horribly at demonstrating this, but I will try anyway. It's one of those ships that's been in the game for ages, and it used to be the tier 7 American cruiser, back when Cleveland was the tier 6 and New Orleans was the tier 8. But now Pensacola is the tier 6. It has approximately the same HP as the tier 3 St. Louis. And St. Louis is a great ship, so you know Pensacola is great as well. Also, this is where the line, if you want to go down this line, there's two American cruiser lines you could go down in the tech tree. The one that leads to Des Moines, those are heavy cruisers, or the one that leads to Worcester, those are light cruisers. This is the first heavy cruiser. And going from Omaha, which is a light cruiser, to this one, that can be challenging. Speaking of challenging, we're in a tier 8 game. There's an Ipiranga, which I don't know when you're watching this video, but yeah, at this point in time, Ipiranga is like the Death Star. It will just, particularly in tier 6 match, he can just walk at us and all we can do is run away. But on the upside, his guns are small, his main guns, that is. So if we just show our bow or stern to him, he cannot penetrate that. Great. So what else is there? Atago, very strong. Amalfi, very annoying. Nuremberg, potentially annoying, potentially very dead. North Carolina, Vladivostok, Colorado, all those ships are very dangerous. So we look at the Ipiranga here. Because I have just been informed I might be wrong about the overmatch. We will find out. Ipiranga has 356 millimeter guns. Now, what you have to do is divide 356 by 14.3, and I would do that if I could do math in my head, which I can't. Yes, and I just used the calculator. It's 24 point something. So what that means is the Ipiranga can overmatch 24 millimeter armor, but we have 25 millimeter bow armor. So yeah, if we run straight at an Ipiranga bow on, he has a million guns, so he will still smash our superstructure and deal damage that way. But what he cannot do is overmatch our bow. Now, what you probably also saw, there's a submarine in the game, and our submarine and the enemy submarine, they're both in the middle, and that is because submarine spawns are mirrored. So if our submarine's in the middle, the enemy submarine is also going to be in the middle. Okay, I finally hit something. Good job, me. Ow. He hits me back and instantly sets me on fire, and I just repaired that. That's unfortunate. Okay, he does not commit to the turn, because he wants to dodge those torps. So that guy has 7-kilometer torps. He's not quite within 7 kilometers, so he cannot quite hit us with them. Okay, now he has to go forward. Yes, he did indeed go forward, and he did die. Very cool. Oops, he's already turning away. Why wouldn't he? And he's running out of range. Running off the map. You see we don't have a CV in the game, but we have this Nebraska here, which is half a CV, and we have our Ise, which is a quarter of a CV. If you ever encounter an Ise, don't despair. You can eat all of his torps, and it will just tickle you, but don't panic and show broadside to the enemy team just to dodge 1 or 2 Ise torps. Just take the Ise torps on the chin, and you're better off that way. So we didn't go around this way. And why did we not do that? Because it's all open water. There's an Amalfi, and there's these folks here, and that's unhealthy as a Pensacola, because you're not super maneuverable. Your speed is okay for the tier, but you turn like a brick, more or less. Not a good experience. So we go this direction with the intention of shooting over islands, because we love islands and we're gonna hug them like they're our waifu. I think that's what people say. Also, the enemy team is allergic to cap circles, so we have 3 already. We're going to have the 4th shortly, but that can change very, very quickly. So let's say 1 or 2 ships die at the decap, enemy team gets decap for free, and then rolls the entire flank. So that can definitely happen. So we have found our island position, and we will start shooting that New Mexico. Well, we will start shooting in his general direction and miss all shells, obviously. Okay, that guy just died. Hey, we hit something, we got a fire, that's good. Yeah, that NC could go a little further away so that we can lob this island. That would be preferable. Wow, there was no island marker there, and we still fired all shells into the island. That's because this island has some rocks that are higher than the rest. And maybe it's the fire control system looking just between those rocks and thinking, oh, there's no obstacle. But the guns actually have an obstacle. So we should probably be loading AP here for the Amalfi, but the Amalfi is already turning away. So, and now it says there is an island in the way, and we're gonna hit the island, but all shells went over. Yeah, probably because that's the rock our fire control is looking at. The Colorado put out a fire, so if our Fubuki can hit him with the torp and get a flooding, that's going to be good. The Amalfi and or North Carolina are currently looking at us angrily. Okay, it was the Amalfi, and he missed us.
Can I point out something that's a classic about this match?
Oh, sure.
What you see here with the enemy team is the New Mexico spawned on 2 line and went east instead of fighting. The North Carolina and Colorado, who have superior range, spawned on the east side or in the middle and went west. So their battleships, with the exception of Ipiranga really, hasn't gotten closer to the caps that are contested.
Yeah, so what it boils down to is don't be a flank switching battleship, particularly if your top speed is 20 knots. Okay, now we are trying to die here to prolong the match, because the match is won, right? We have all the caps, we have map position, that New Mexico back there is going to die. So we're just trying to prolong the game here desperately while shooting at that Amalfi. And we did it. Generally not advised to try and throw your ship away, but it always depends on the situation, right? In this particular situation, dying there prolongs the game and gives the teammates more time to farm, deal more damage, get better rewards. If we just stay behind that island, we're not going to do much damage anyway, because all the enemy has run away. Yeah, the game is going to end much sooner, and nobody's going to be happy. This way, we maximize the rewards for the team. I should point out, never underestimate your team's ability to throw matches that look 100% won, but yeah, I had 2 division mates here, and so I was sure they were not going to throw, even if the rest of the team decides to just YOLO in and die like I did. And now a battleship game. Have we played? No, we have not played a German battleship yet. Always a crowd favorite. For some reason, on the EU server, people just love to play German battleships. Is it because the German population is very high? Maybe. So, this ship is not built for secondaries. Don't be an idiot and build your ship, your Bayern, that is, for secondaries and expect to do ultra well. You can probably pull it off once every 20 games, but if you play with a main gun build, it's going to be more consistently good. Or at least more consistently not trash. Again, the captain has 10 points. I would really like to get this skill as well, but hey ho, you can't have everything. And as you can see here, this ship, of course, has access to the dispersion module in slot 3, so you really, really want that dispersion. There's resources out there where you can compare your dispersion with and without the upgrade and stuff like that. WoW's Ship Builder is the website / app for that. And 7% better dispersion, like your dispersion is an ellipse, right? And 7% better means 7% better horizontal dispersion and 7% better vertical dispersion, meaning your ellipse loses a lot more area than 7%. I don't know the math because I can't do it in my head, but 7% better dispersion means the area in which your shells can land shrinks by a lot more than 7%. Go to WoW's Shipbuilder, check it out yourself, do the math yourself, and you will see what I mean. But yeah, get dispersion whenever you can.
I will add to that the vertical dispersion is the single most important factor at shorter range, whereas horizontal dispersion has more impact on how well you aim.
Yeah, if you're struggling with aim in general, I guess get good. It's mostly experience and muscle memory, but if you're completely new and have no idea what you're doing, consider checking out the Super Unicum Aiming Guide video on YouTube made by a Canadian player going by Potato Quality. He is a good player, and that is probably his best video. So yeah, watch that. It is very long, but you're probably going to learn a thing or two. And just because I just can't help myself, what he does and says in that video is very good and very helpful. Just don't watch his videos on battleships and take his opinion as the gospel. He is an insanely good battleship player, but he loves his secondary battleships, and he wants to play them, wants to play every battleship as secondary battleship, essentially, which is not always ideal. He can do it because he's good. You can't because you're not. So, yeah, be careful there. Oh, obviously, I can't do it either. So, don't get me wrong there. Not dissing you. So finally, in the last game, we finally have an aircraft carrier. Wow, so good. If you're playing against an aircraft carrier, it definitely helps to know what type of armament they have. And in this case, we have a German aircraft carrier. German planes are pretty fast, but pretty squishy. The reserves are okay-ish, I guess. And this is the tech tree line, the Tier 8 tech tree German CV, and Wargaming recently reworked all the icons here, and if it's red, it means it's AP, armor piercing. So these rockets, if there's an enemy cruiser that's showing broadside, those rockets may be able to citadel him, and that's gonna hurt. So be careful. The torps don't do too much damage, but they have short arming range, so they're pretty good for hunting DDs. And you can see the Parzival is stalking our Aoba here, which may end poorly for our Aoba if the angle is not enough, and will do 0 damage. Well, if he misses, it will do 0 damage. Will do 0 damage if the Aoba is even slightly angled. Likewise, it is probably not going to do a lot of damage to battleships most of the time, unless the rockets hit the upper belt, because they cannot pen the main belt. And the superstructure is probably already saturated. And the bombs are AP bombs, meaning if you're a battleship like I am, I'm free real estate for that carrier. He really, with his AP bombs, I'm probably the best target in the game for him. Okay, guess that guy's gonna die. Yep.
But it also means it's really inconsistent.
Yeah, and you have
It's a
to
major factor.
you have to pick your targets very carefully, right? So with, let's say, the United States CV line that leads up to Midway, you can take any type of plane and hit any type of ship, and you will always do consistently well / poorly. If you take the Parzival, the German tech tree line, and you use your AP bombs against destroyers, you're not going to do anything. You use your AP rockets against a ship that's slightly angled, you're not going to do anything. So yeah, the line is hyper specialized, and that's something you have to know. If you play against them, you need to know which CV, obviously in general, which ship can do what, but if you play against a CV, even more so, because it doesn't matter where the CV spawns, he can always come for you.
Torpedos auf Steuerbord!
So we have this DD on our flank here, which we are mostly going to ignore. Did he blind fire? Crazy. We're going to do what is called a gamer turn here in front of that Nagato. Under the assumption he's not gonna hit us too hard, because we're a German battleship, he cannot citadel us. He may smash us with regular penetrations, but he's not gonna citadel us, so that's why we can get away with it. CV is coming back to hunt our Aoba. Also, what you just saw there, flying over an island with the German CV and the rocket planes is most likely not going to yield the best results, because it totally screws up your aiming. Kind of torn here. Do I want to shoot the Graf Spee and the Nagato, or do I want to get rid of this shill? Well, get rid of him. I say that, but obviously we're not going to get rid of him. But we can shoot at him. right? Pays off to know which ships can do what, and apparently the shill can go pretty fast. Okay. Sad. We're behind the island, cannot shoot the Geri here at this second. Okay, so the DD came out the other side. Maybe he's gonna take some of those torps. That would be funny. I guess it could also be the shield spotting us. No, it's the DD. He did a bit of border surfing there, which is very annoying because it makes it more difficult to hit him. Not that my aim was bad, not at all. It's all the mechanics of the game, right? It's not my aim, it's the border. So what you saw me do here is push in like an idiot, right? And why did I do that? There's a shield on my broadside, yes, but he cannot citadel me. There's no threat in front of me, so I can shoot him at the same time. And there was a low HP Nagato here, and in general, I can put pressure on the enemy team this way. Also, we had a Nagato sitting here to provide crossfire on the shill, so yeah, not a terrible idea. Normally, pushing in is very often very suicidal, so always have a look at the map before you commit to something you may regret a minute later. Okay, I think that guy's dead. The Nagato just shot him, yes. So no point in wasting our salvo there. You can also see the position of our Colorado there, which is kind of interesting. I get it, there was a submarine on that flank, and our submarine had already died, so that's scary. But you can find a balance between running away at full fucking speed and pushing in like an idiot.
And full speed isn't much in the case of the Colorado, so he must have been running for quite a long time.
Yeah. Yeah, that guy's reversing. In this situation, the rule is no cap, kill all. So we don't want the cap.
We want the carrier.
We want the carrier dead. We also tactically took a Graf Spähtorp here for Adrenaline Rush, which is this skill our captain has, the 3-point skill. That gives us 10% better reload because our ship has taken extensive damage. The more damage you take, the faster your reload gets. So obviously, the smart strategy is to charge in early and lose 99% of your HP, so you have fast reload for the rest of the match.
Provided you survive the rest of the match.
Yeah, which you probably don't. Oh, did you see that? 10.5 kilometer, full broadside carrier. I bracket him. Yeah, and that was the last game of the How to Only Half Suck at World of Warships series. As you can see, 100% win rate. We won all 9 games, and that's certainly not down to our own stellar performance. We had our division mates for that. But we also didn't play stupidly, right? Except when we threw our Pensacola away to prolong the game, and when we charged in as a Fushun to demonstrate what not to do. But yeah, normally we played quite sensibly. That won't always get you the best results, but I would advise you as a new player that you try to steady your gameplay first and perform on a solid level consistently before you try and pull the crazy shit occasionally. I understand the crazy shit feels nice if it works, but more often than not it won't work. I guess if it's fun for you, there's nothing I can do, but it's not, for me personally, it's not fun to die stupidly 3 minutes into the match 19 out of 20 games, because the 20th game I can somehow pull off a crazy stunt that's highlight worthy or whatever. If that's your thing, fine. I'm just going to assume if you're watching these videos, that's not your thing, so you shouldn't do it. Yeah. Again, you can find the Twitch stream of my main carrier here, Equivoke, in the description. Also, thanks to both of you, Equi and Snorky, for helping to make this a 100% win rate success. Yeah. I'm sure it will help all the people, because I watch new streamers on Twitch and they play horribly. So yeah, watch these videos first and then play semi-horribly. Everyone's gonna appreciate that. Bye.